Hi, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. So excited you're here because we're doing a May TBR video. I am doing something a little different this time. I'm in a bit of a mood, so I didn't really want to be told what to read this month, or I didn't want to be obligated to read anything. So I kind of just want to mood read. There are some books that I've been wanting to read, I haven't been able to get to for various reasons. Like I've been either trying to get to books that I've been sent, or been trying to get to whatever goals that I've had for myself or whatever. So I'm not focusing on goals this month. I'm not focusing on anything that I'm obligated to read or anything like that. I'm just focusing on things that I genuinely want to read. So, and most of the time I do read what I want, but lately I've just been on these little kicks where I've been trying really hard to get to all my arcs or whatever. So this month I really desperately need like a mental break. And I just want to escape into these books and just take a little break. And I may even take like a social media break, I haven't decided yet. But regardless, I just want to be able to relax and read some good books and read whatever I want to for a month. So, like I said, mostly I do that anyways, but I'm not gonna go on any, I'm not gonna do my TBR board game, I'm not gonna let it choose for me this month, I'm not gonna let anybody choose what I'm reading this month, I'm just gonna read for me. So, also I'm wearing my Five Nights at Freddy's shirt. It says, "So tell me, what do you fear?" And it has this Freddy's character on it. I got this, I don't really know much about Five Nights at Freddy's. I just saw it and thought it looked cool. And also I knew my son would think it looks cool because he really loves Five Nights at Freddy's. So I was like, hey, check out what I got. Yeah. But anyways, let's shop my shelves. Okay, so I loved this. And I need to read part 2. I have been in the mood for something really light and funny, so this is perfect. And then also on the same shelf, this was a gift from my friend Erin on Instagram, and she said I really need to read it, and she thinks I will like it. So I've been meaning to, and this is a perfect time. I have a lot on the shelf I need to read, actually. This one I've been wanting to read forever. I got the book haul like, I don't know, months ago. The Upside Down Voice That Speaks Backwards. Something weird, something funky, and that sounds perfect. This shelf right here, I mean, this here is random. Oh, I loved this book. It was super weird, but this actually is one of my favorites if you want just something trippy and super weird. Obviously, I've already read it, so I'm not gonna pick it for this one. These are vampire books. My system is super all over the place, but not really in the mood for vampires, and most of these I've already read anyways. This is the only Grady Hendrix book here that I haven't read, but I'm really not in the mood for it either. So I don't think I'm going to be picking anything from this shelf right now. This one right here. Psychic Teenage Bloodbath. Little extreme horror. I don't know if I'm in the mood for extreme horror, but it's a Carrie retelling, and that sounds perfect. Little female rage for you. So maybe this one. Also, Big Swiss. I've been wanting to read. Little unhinged female situation, and I've heard this is really good. So maybe this one. Down here on this end, we have more. These are clowns and circuses, and then like some Christopher Triana extreme horror situation. I think this one actually. Mortifier. This is a clown clown horror. So maybe this one. All right, here we have, let's see. There are a few of these I haven't read. I haven't read this one. This is part 2 in the series. Part 1 is actually on loan to a friend. It's more thriller. I'm not really in the mood for that right now. Actually, a lot of these are thriller, and I'm definitely not in the mood for a thriller right now. Let's see. Same down here. Yeah, I'm not really in the mood for any of these either. I've either already read these or I'm not in the mood for them. And a lot of these, like I said, are thrillers. So yeah, nothing on this shelf either. And I know for sure I'm in the mood for the next Blood on the Tracks, because I'm really into this series and I need to know what happens next. You can kind of see my rap books down here. Obviously, I'm not going to be going to that shelf. These are, yeah, there are a few more thriller here instead of horror, so I'm not really in the mood for those. A lot of these I've already read, so let's see here. Let's see if I'm in the mood for any of these. Oh, these are fun. They're so tiny. This one, look how cute and little. This is hilarious. This is more thriller, super cute, super fun, absolutely hilarious. But if you haven't read this, I would definitely recommend it. It's not scary, but the main character is an old lady, and she's definitely up to no good. Absolutely hysterical though. I won't give anything away, but it's a translated work. It says Maud is it follows an 88-year-old lady, and she's just this lonely lady. She's an 88-year-old woman with no family, no friends, and no qualms about a little murder. And you really don't want her to get caught. The whole time, you know, she's just escaping getting caught, and you really don't want her to get busted. She's adorable. So, haven't read the second one. I really need to. Not really in the mood for that right now, but All the Fiends of Hell, you probably saw my vlog where I read that one. Loved it. Oh, this is really good. Tales from the Gas Station. I really need to get volume 2. That is hilarious. It's super weird. Just weird comedy horror. Really good. Yeah. Butcher Boy. Been wanting to read this one. I don't know if this is the time for it though. I don't think so. Don't think now is the time. Yeah, I don't think I'm in the mood for any of this either. Told y'all I was in the mood. And then I know I need the next in the Interview with the Devil series. I've been really meaning to get back to this, and that is The Witch. He says I need to read this between books 2 and 3. So that one for sure. What else do I need to read out of these? These are all ones that I've been sent recently. At this shelf here, let's see what we got. Ooh, Disco Death Trap. This one is set on New Year's Eve, so I think I want to save this. I've been meaning to read this on New Year's Eve and I keep forgetting. Ooh, this was a gift. I think I want to save this for next month though. Camp Slaughter. This was a really good slasher. This is a really good summer slasher if you're looking for one. This was really weird if you like weird horror. This was super, super weird. I really enjoyed it though. Let's see. This was really good. Where Dreams Are Entombed. That was really good by Chase Will. I've read most of these. Paul Bear's Club. This feels more like I should be reading this in the fall. Okay, so I got this one for the cover. I think this one's more nonfiction. I really don't have much desire to read it, but look at this cover though. This is why I bought it. Yeah, it's a whole vibe. I've read this one, What the Fuck Was That by Bridget Nelson. This is a book of short stories. There's 3 short stories. Leans more into the extreme horror, so definitely check the trigger warnings. But yeah, this was really good. Slasher, it's more of a slasher. But yeah, this was pretty good. Yeah, I don't think I'm in the mood for any of this on the shelf. Either I've read it or I'm not really in the mood for it. So that's where we are on these. These other shelves, I have short story collections up there. Don't think I'm in the mood for any of those. We have Stephen King, definitely not in the mood for that. Here we have, there are a few here that I've been wanting to read, like Mothered. I really had a hard time getting into that one when I picked it up, so I don't think I'm in the mood for that right now. I don't think I'm in the right headspace for it. Lightning Bottles, I think that's more thriller. Phantom, there's my favorite book. Again, I know I've mentioned it 100 times. Dottie for You, this one here with the heart. I really wanted to read it, but it's chunky. And again, I don't think I'm in the right headspace for it. Bury Your Gaze, I've been dying to read that one, but I don't think now's the time for that one either. So I don't think I'm gonna pick any of those up right now. I may, if I have time, like at the end of the month, I may pick 1 or 2 up from this shelf because there are so many that I've been wanting to read, but we'll see. And then we have over here, Dean Koontz. And then up here are like ghost stories and haunted house stories. But I don't think that's where my brain is right now either. Down here, we have my pretty stenciled and sprayed edge books. But that's not where I'm at either. I want to show you every shelf, but we got some vintage paperbacks, more vintage paperbacks, some Sweet Valley High. We have R.L. Stine, Fear Street, some Goosebumps and some more R.L. Stine, Christopher Pike, and some other sort of YA. Then we have some Choose Your Own Adventure books. We have V.C. Andrews, definitely not in a V.C. Andrews mood. Down here, we have Agatha Christie and H.P. Lovecraft. Over here, we have the messy shelf you never see. Some more that I've been sent by some publishers and authors. This is my stack of old school April books I need to file away. Some other random books. Are there any other shelves? There are some other shelves I haven't shown you, but they're like classics, fantasy, things like that. And then I have a whole room full of books and more shelves that like just aren't horror that I'm not going to show you right now. So I think that's all we're going to go through right now. So I think I've got the books that I want to read. All right, let's talk about these books. There are a couple others I'm going to be reading most likely that I found either at my library or on Kindle that I do want to really bad read that I don't own physically yet. I want to own physically, but I'm not able to spend money at the moment. So I'll be adding those as well, just because I'm very much in the mood to read them. I really bad want to read them. And I'll explain that in a minute. So, but let's go over these first. So the first one is The Witch by Michael Harbron. I know I've talked about this series a million times, so I'm not gonna tell you again. And I won't tell you exactly what this is about because this is part of a series. But yeah, he told me to read this in between books 2 and 3 in the Interview with the Devil series. So yeah, and Interview with the Devil is obviously this guy, due to his very religious upbringing, you know, he had parents who kind of shoved religion down his throat, especially his mother. And he became sort of negative toward religion. He developed this negativity toward it. He became a skeptic. And long story short, he ends up interviewing the devil, which is why it's called The Interview with the Devil. It takes a while to get to the interview in the first book. I know I've said that before, but it's worth it. And the first book is building up to the series. You're getting to know the characters, you're getting to know the world, it's world building and all that. The second book is a little bit more extreme. It yeah, the second book's wild. The second book like goes there, where the first one was a little bit more mild. I say mild, it was really good. It was very intriguing, thought-provoking. I really enjoyed it. The second one definitely had more horror elements, a lot more horror elements. It definitely had more triggers, like if you have triggers. It's really good, very thought-provoking. It's a really good series. I've loved both books, the first and second. So I'm really looking forward to this one and getting to know more of the characters, getting to know more of this world, and I'm very excited about it. So yeah, I'll read this, and then after this I'll read book 3, and probably not this month. I'm kind of dragging it out. I'm not ready to be done with the series. I've been dragging it out because I don't want the series to end. So, but yes, so The Witch. Next up is Blood on the Tracks Volume 3 by Shuzo Oshimi. I just told you in the last video that I read Volume 2 and really enjoyed it. Yeah, I really love this series. It's very twisted, very dark, and it's slowly building. It's very much a slow dread kind of thing, a slow build kind of thing, but it's involving a toxic relationship between a mother and a son, and she's very much overbearing. That's all I'll really say about it. It's very uncomfortable and uneasy, and oh, that's the best horror book. It just gives you that uneasy feeling the whole time, and you have it the whole time, or at least I do. But yeah, the thing that makes this so uncomfortable is how realistic it is. But yeah, it's really good. Next up is Mortifier by Sarah Derosa. I've been wanting to read this from the moment I saw it. It's just taken me a while because I've had all these other things come up that I've had to read or wanted to read, needed to read, had deadlines for, whatever. Mort has always wanted to be a clown. He's dreamed of becoming a clown his whole life. Like his dad was a clown, he had a traveling circus. Well, Mort's mom has other plans for him, and she's constantly telling him, no, you can't be a clown. You're too scared to be a clown, like you're gonna scare the kids, whatever. So yeah, it's his mom sounds pretty toxic. One night, Mort finds this injured skunk, and he forms this bond with this skunk. He names him Bulbous. He nurses this skunk back to health, and he loves this skunk. On his birthday, his mom basically orders him to abandon his dreams and his pet skunk. So it's really sad for him and for his little skunk. Well, this sends Mort on like a psychological spiral. Now all of a sudden he has Bulbous, his pet skunk. He has Bulbous's sinister voice in his head. It says, join Mort and Bulbous on a darkly comedic journey through madness, self-discovery, and unexpected violence. Are you ready to be mortified? Yeah, this sounds weird. It sounds possibly heartwarming, maybe? I don't know. It's a pretty short book. It's less than 100 pages, so it's a short book, but I'm really looking forward to it. I love a good clown story, and the skunk and the skunk's voice in his head thrown in there just sounds really interesting, and Mort sounds like a really interesting character. Then we have Psychic Teenage Bloodbath by Carl John Lee. This is a Carrie retelling, but it's extreme horror. So anybody that knows the Carrie story, this is similar. So yeah, this is a good for her horror. Good, like a revenge story, but a lot more gory and a lot more violent than the original. Next up, we have Big Swiss by Jen Beagin. This one is interesting. It sounds like a whole vibe too. I mean, this sounds like the perfect thing to read this time of year, honestly, just because of the vibe. This follows Greta, and Greta lives with her friend in this ancient Dutch farmhouse in New York. Unfortunately, this house is not it's not as charming, I believe is what it sounds, because it's uninsulated and it's unrenovated and it's full of bees apparently. So it sounds like a really interesting setting. But anyways, for her job, Greta transcribes therapy sessions for a sex coach, and she becomes infatuated with one of his clients, who she affectionately names Big Swiss. That's who she calls her. Well, they share similarities, like Greta and Big Swiss share these similarities. They both have this dark history, this dark past. The only difference is Big Swiss, she chooses to be unattached to her trauma, whereas Greta, she's still holding on to her trauma. She still remains like tortured by her past. So one day, whenever Greta is out in the market, she recognizes Big Swiss's voice. And, you know, the two of them, they meet and they become enmeshed. You know, of course, Big Swiss has no clue that Greta knows who she is. She has no clue that Greta has eavesdropped on her, you know, sex therapy sessions. They form this whole relationship, this whole bond, even though this whole breach of privacy has happened, you know. But Greta, like, she'll pretty much do anything to keep this relationship. She likes Big Swiss and she's attracted to Big Swiss enough that completely overrides her guilt. So she's gonna keep this relationship no matter what. So, because she's completely infatuated with her. So really interesting dynamic and a really interesting premise. It says, bold, outlandish, and filled with irresistible characters, Big Swiss is both a love story and a deft examination of infidelity, mental health, sexual stereotypes, and more, from an amazingly talented, singular voice in contemporary fiction. So yeah, this sounds kind of dark, but also sounds funny and interesting at the same time, and also sounds like a whole vibe. And I've been wanting to read this for a while. I think it's perfect for me. Next up, we have something weird, which is The Upside Down Voice That Speaks Backwards by R.J. Benetti. I think this is a short story collection. I think this is supposed to be sort of weird horror. I know one of there's a blurb on the back that says, Benetti's newest collection reads like a tried and true classic. Every story is well crafted, wickedly clever, and possesses an edge of surrealism and black humor. Reading this was like experiencing a series of Twilight Zone episodes on paper. Absolutely can't recommend highly enough. If you weren't a Benetti fan before, you will be after. So yeah, this sounds really weird and interesting, and I love weird horror, so this sounds freaking perfect. And this cover, I don't know how well you can see that, but that cover is really cool. It looks really trippy. So nice short story collection. Is there art in here? Yes, there's art in here. There are illustrations. Wicked. Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna be a spoiler to show you the illustrations, so I'm not gonna show you yet, but there's some illustrations in the back. There's like a story in the back that has some really wicked illustrations. I'm not gonna show you because I don't know if it spoils anything, but it's really wicked. Mouth by Joshua Hull. This one was sent to me by my friend Erin. On Instagram, she's called EerieLuck75. I will link her Instagram down below. But yeah, she told me, because she and I have similar taste in books as well. And she's been following me on Instagram since I think I started Instagram a couple years ago. And we've become friends. But yeah, she sent me this, that I really need to read it. She thinks I will really like it. And I've been really wanting to. And this is kind of a shorter book. This guy, Rusty, is left this property by a stranger. This property just has a giant tooth-filled mouth in the ground. And apparently the mouth is hungry. So it's a whole thing. Rusty then meets this girl, Abigail, who is a filmmaker. And she kind of stumbles across the secret somehow, the secret of this mouth. So then the two of them band together to figure out where this mouth came from, you know, its history and all this stuff. Apparently this sets in motion this whole scheme, or this whole thing. I don't know what all that entails, but it sounds really weird and interesting. And also another really cool cover. So, but yeah, Erin says this is really good. And then we have Finlay Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead by Elle Cosimano. Remember, I read the first one of these a while back, where Finlay is, you know, she's a single mom. She's going through a separation. She's really having a hard time. She's a writer in breach of her contract. She's trying to come up with a new book idea. Well, she's in Panera Bread, and she's talking to her manager, her editor, she's talking to somebody, one of her book peeps. I don't remember, but she's talking to them on the phone, and she's overheard, and somebody thinks that she is a hired killer. So this lady leaves her a note asking her to off her husband. And Finlay inadvertently accepts the offer, and she's offered a large sum of money. So this kind of sets about this chain of events. One thing leads to another. It is wild. She's always getting herself into these wild situations. And she also has this really hilarious babysitter, Vera. Freaking love Vera. And the two of them together are hilarious. There are other characters in there as well that are really fun. But yeah, just a really fun book, the first one. And I really can't wait to see where it goes, because the way it kind of left it open for the next in the series. And I really need to know what happens. So before I forget, because if I wait too long to read the next one, I'm going to forget what happened. This one was sent to me by my friend Leslie, who is the Grim Hobbyist on YouTube. I'll link her channel down below. I don't know if she's still doing videos. It's been a while since I've seen her on here, but I'll also link her Instagram as well. There are two books that I'm going to be getting digitals of. One is from my library through Hoopla, and then the other one is Kindle Unlimited. I really want the physical copies if I can, so I'm working on like unhauling some books and seeing if I can get enough from those to like buy these other two books. It's a whole thing. I'm trying. The first one, I know you remember if you saw my video from Old School April. The next one from B-Movie Bloodbath from Isaac Nightingale, I believe is called Neon Nightmares. I should have looked because like my little brain is fried, but I have to have it. I found it on Kindle Unlimited, so if I have to read on there, I will. I really want the physical copy because like I know I love this one enough that I need the other one in the series, because it's one that I'll probably want to read again. I had a good time with it. And one thing I forgot to mention in my finale, Old School April finale video, is that every chapter in the book was inspired by a song. So there's a track, like there's a track at the beginning of each one. It'll say track 1, track 2, track whatever. And at the beginning of this one, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, but at the beginning of the book, there's a QR code. And it goes to a playlist. So yeah, at the beginning of each chapter, it says what track that chapter goes to, what track it was inspired by, and I just thought that was really cool. I can't listen while I'm reading, but it was really cool, like to see the inspiration behind each chapter. It was really cool. But anyways, Neon Nightmares is the next one in that series, and I have to have it. And for those of you who don't remember, the back says of the first one, I won't tell you what the second one's about, but I was 19 years old when a pair of vampires beat me to a pulp and left me for dead. Imprisoned for a murder I didn't commit, I had to struggle to survive and fight for my freedom. Finally unleashed on the world, I carried 3 gifts that would change the course of my life: a rock-hard grudge, a taste for blood, and some super serum hot sauce coursing through my veins. I wanted vengeance, and I'd go through hell to get it. Vampires, flesh-melting skin stealers, neo-Nazi prison gangs, an old-ass fortune teller, a Texan gunslinger, a wheelchair-bound werewolf, 2 haunted revolvers, and one hell of a road trip for revenge. And if the back sounds wild, the book is probably wilder. It was a great time. So yeah, it left it open for the next in the series. Not so open that you were left on a huge cliffhanger, but open enough to where you know there's more adventures to come, and I have to know what happens next. I have to know where the adventure goes, and I hope some of these characters come back aside from just the main one, because there were some really great characters. The next one is Magnolia Parks. I believe the author's name is Jessa Hastings, or Jessie Hastings. So this one is so out of character for me. This is not horror. It's the only one that's not horror on my list, but it's one that I'm in the mood for. I'm in the mood for some light drama. I don't know what's wrong with me. Who am I? But yeah, so this book has been mentioned so many times. I'm in so many book groups on Facebook, and I continuously see this book mentioned 1,000,001 times. And the first time I saw it mentioned was a few years ago, and someone had asked for a book with Chuck and Blair vibes from Gossip Girl. And I remember loving Chuck and Blair, especially Chuck. I remember loving Chuck, but I remember loving Chuck and Blair, and they're just fucking toxic relationship and their back and forth and all their crap when I used to watch Gossip Girl years ago. So it has those vibes, and it's rich people drama, and you know, I'm just in the mood for just some trashy rich people drama and some just toxic relationship vibes. That is what I'm in the mood for, and I have to have it immediately, like now. But I will tell you, they have new covers, and I hate the new covers. I hate them. I hate the new covers so much. So when I buy the physical, I'm gonna be buying the original covers. I like it so much better. I don't know, and I know the original covers probably have nothing. I think the original covers had nothing to do with the actual book, but I don't care. I like the original covers so much better. So anyhow, those are all the books that I plan on reading for May. It's fairly light. A lot of them are very thin. I've got some manga in there. I've got some very quick, easy reads, and then I got some extreme horror. I just went all over the place with it. But I wanted to just read some things that I was in the mood for, that I really have. I've been wanting to read so badly, and I've just been putting off for other things, and been running out of time for it. And I'm gonna make time for it this month. I wanted to make time for things that I really bad been wanting to read. So that is the month of May. Let me know down in the comments, what is a book that you are really excited to read in May? I would love to know. And yeah, I will see you on Friday for my Old School April highlights video. Bye for now.